Many of us begin healing by trying to understand. We want answers, we want clarity, we want to know why something happened, why a relationship ended, why someone treated us the way they did, why we developed certain fears, why certain experiences affected us so deeply. And if we're honest, there are so many whys within us, aren't there? Why did this happen? Why now? Why this person? Why do I still think about it? Why can't I seem to completely let it go? Why does it still hurt sometimes? The desire to understand is deeply human. When something affects us emotionally, our minds naturally search for explanations. We hope that if we can just find the right answer, everything will finally make sense. And there is nothing wrong with wanting to understand. Understanding can be incredibly helpful. Sometimes it helps us make sense of confusing experiences. Sometimes it helps us stop blaming ourselves. Sometimes it helps us recognize patterns that we could not see before. Understanding can be an important part of healing, but there is something many people eventually discover. Not everything can be healed through understanding alone. At some point, you may find yourself knowing exactly what happened. You understand the pattern, you understand the wound, you understand the dynamics. You understand why you feel the way you do. And yet, you still feel stuck. Not because you need more information, but because information is no longer the thing that is missing. Many people spend years searching for one more answer, one more explanation, one more insight, believing that if they can just understand enough, they will finally feel at peace. But sometimes peace does not come from finding another answer. Sometimes peace comes from accepting that there may not be another answer. This is where surrender often begins. Surrender is one of the most misunderstood words. Many people hear surrender and think it means giving up, accepting less, being passive, doing nothing. But true surrender is not about giving up. It is about letting go of the struggle to control what cannot be controlled. There is a difference. Giving up says nothing matters. Surrender says, I have done what I can, and I am no longer going to exhaust myself fighting reality. Giving up disconnects. Surrender softens. Giving up comes from hopelessness. Surrender comes from trust. Think about how much energy people spend trying to force things, trying to force clarity, trying to force healing, trying to force relationships, trying to force closure, trying to force certainty about the future. And often, the more we force, the more exhausted we become, because some things cannot be rushed. Some answers arrive in their own time. Some people need to walk their own path. Some chapters need space before they make sense. And some questions may never be answered in the way we hoped. This can be difficult to accept, especially when we care deeply, especially when we want certainty, especially when we are afraid of the unknown. But surrender is not about pretending uncertainty feels comfortable. It is about learning to live without needing certainty before moving forward. It is saying, I do not know exactly how this will unfold, but I trust myself enough to take the next step anyway. That is surrender. Sometimes healing happens through understanding. Sometimes healing happens through finally allowing yourself to stop carrying what was never yours to carry. Sometimes healing happens through releasing the need to replay the same story over and over in your mind. Sometimes healing happens through accepting that the past cannot be changed. And sometimes healing happens through trusting that not everything needs to be solved today. One of the clearest signs that surrender may be needed is when you notice yourself endlessly searching the same questions, the same memories, the same conversations inside your head, the same need to figure everything out before allowing yourself to feel peace. At some point, the question becomes, what if I already understand enough? What if the next step is not more analysis? What if the next step is simply allowing myself to live, to rest, to create, to laugh, to enjoy small moments again, to stop placing my life on hold while waiting for perfect clarity? Because healing is not only about processing pain, it is also about returning to life. Returning to the things that nourish you, returning to the present moment, returning to yourself. Perhaps this is one of the hardest parts of healing, not understanding, but trusting. Trusting when you cannot yet see the whole picture. Trusting when answers have not arrived. Trusting when the future still feels uncertain. Trusting that your life can continue even while some questions remain unanswered. For some people, surrender means letting go of a person. For others, it means letting go of a dream that no longer fits who they are becoming. For others, it means letting go of the need to know exactly how everything will unfold. And for many of us, surrender means releasing the belief that peace can only come after every question has been answered. Because sometimes peace arrives first, and the answers come later. Or sometimes they never come at all, and somehow we learn to be okay anyway. If you find yourself carrying questions that have no clear answers, may you remember this. You do not have to understand everything before you are allowed to move forward. You do not have to solve every mystery before you are allowed to experience peace. You do not have to control every outcome before you are allowed to trust life again. Some healing happens through understanding, and some healing happens through surrender. May you have the wisdom to know when understanding is helping you grow. And may you have the courage to surrender when understanding is no longer what you need. May the true source of love and light guide you through both. And may you find peace not only in the answers you receive, but also in the questions you learn to release. If this reflection resonated with you, you may consider supporting this channel by liking or subscribing. And if there is someone in your life who might need these words today, feel free to share this video with them. I truly appreciate everyone who chooses to spend a few moments here, whether you have been here from the beginning or have only recently found this channel. I hope these reflections can reach the people who may need them most, especially during moments when they feel lost, overwhelmed, disconnected from themselves, or simply in need of a reminder that they are not alone. Because I know there are seasons in life when a few simple words arriving at the right moment can make a meaningful difference. And perhaps that is why this space exists. May the true source of love and light guide and support you on your journey wherever you may be today. Thank you for being here.